Hello, welcome back to the car. Welcome back to the vlog. Welcome back to Cornwall. Welcome back to autumn in the United Kingdom, in England, in Cornwall where I live. It is wet. It is warm and wet, but it's definitely wet. It has spent most of the weekend just raining. I did try to clean the car yesterday. I tried to clean the car. I sort of stepped out in between rainstorms and it was just making the car slightly different type of wet, soapy wet, I guess. And then yeah, this morning just run some Windex over the windows, jump in, throw the cameras against the glass, and here I am talking to you guys. But wait, why am I talking to you guys? Well, last week I recorded a vlog, and it was a vlog about YouTube, and it was a vlog about YouTube and a bunch of views going missing. You see, sometime through the middle of August, all the views vanished. They were just like, you know what? You can have what, 4/5 of your views, maybe half of your views, depending on what day it is. And I'm like, that's most peculiar. And everyone else is complaining about the lack of views as well. Everyone from Linus Tech Tips to Second Wind, everyone was just like, you know what? Something's gone wrong. And initially, we all thought that, you know what? Oh, there's a giant bus. I'm gonna just back up a little bit into here. So what happens when you record a vlog and you just like, you know what? Double-decker bus. You normally find them in the middle of London. The middle of London? Yes, the middle of London. Not on a Cornish narrow-ass road. Let's see if we can squeeze through here. At 1:49 in the afternoon. Very peculiar. But, you know, that's what happens when you go out driving with a bunch of cameras strapped to your car. Anyway, yes, the views on YouTube disappearing. The views on YouTube disappearing. And the initial hypothesis was that they'd enabled restricted mode for everyone who wasn't logged in and some channels who were logged in. So if you had been watching a lot of Minecraft or Bluey, then chances are YouTube would think you were a youngling and they would restrict your account and maybe send Hayden Christensen your way with a lightsaber. But, but that is a deep cut. But some things have come out since then. So yes, with the AI putting everyone into restricted mode and looking at all the videos on your channel and choosing which ones should and should not be viewed in restricted mode, and it turns out a lot of gameplay videos are just missing in that mode. So that's cut a lot of the views. There is another reason for this not to be registering a bunch of views, and it turns out that there is a possibility that a bunch of ad block software changed the items that they block on specifically YouTube. And one of the items that they block is an API. So the API measures your view, but it also measures your view time. So there is a specific time that you have to watch a video for it to be recognized as you watching a video. Interesting. This is very peculiar. Very peculiar. The person in front of us was just kind of stopped for a long time, observing the sky, I think, because they had clear right of way. But yeah, the ad block software blocking APIs. So if you didn't know, when you watch a YouTube video, I think it's the first 10 seconds won't count as a view at all. So you hover over a video with your mouse, if you're on the desktop version of YouTube, and it'll probably autoplay. If you leave your mouse over that video for long enough, it autoplays and it counts as a watch, it counts as a view, and it puts it into your view history, which is kind of annoying if you just leave the mouse on the YouTube page and suddenly you've got some random videos in your YouTube history. But it's 10 seconds, or as far as I understand it, it's 10 seconds before it counts as a view. But if you block the API that's recording that, then it doesn't count as a view. And yes, all these ad blockers went, oh, that's another thing we can block from YouTube, so we can still get the video, but instead of allowing YouTube all this extra data, we're just going to block all of those calls, which is fine. I mean, I don't have an opinion on ad blockers either way, because the channel doesn't have ads on it. It doesn't. There is a curiosity. There is a curious thing about the channel and not having ads, because I do have. There's going to be a train. We get to see a train. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I do have a couple of machines. So I've got a desktop and a laptop, and the way that it works when I record videos for YouTube is that the desktop records all the video, and the laptop records all of the audio. But it means they're two separate systems. And on the desktop and my mobile phone, I have YouTube Premium, because I bought YouTube Premium, and it's the YouTube Premium Lite. So YouTube, this level crossing never gets any better. It's YouTube Premium Lite. So it's the like $8 a month, and all you do is just not get adverts. And the reason I got that is because of my phone, because when I'm at work, I tend to have YouTube running, and it's like second monitor viewing. I'm doing Photoshop work on my desktop. I got multiple screens, desktop at work, but underneath it is the phone, and it's got like Veritasium or Drakenophel or Smarter Every Day or Steve Mold, or like some educational stuff is going on underneath. So I'm learning about the physics of black holes and like light and dark universes. But I found that without it, I was having to hit the skip advert button. And I know that you can put an APK on, let's just go around this puddle. I know you can put an APK on your phone and sort of avoid that in a way that YouTube wouldn't like. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to do that. I'm just gonna pay the $8 a month and have it on my phone. But it just means that because it's a single account, it's not on my laptop. So I've been using my laptop to check videos on the main channel page, and the interesting bit is that on the main channel page there shouldn't be any adverts at all because of the way I've set it up. But for some reason, whenever I, on my laptop, go to my main channel page and just check a video, it shows me a bunch of adverts. And I'm like, why? It could be because I'm using Firefox as a browser, and I will never not use Firefox. Firefox as a browser is very good, and I've used it for many, many years. It could be that there is AdBlock Plus on my browser. Now, it's not enabled on YouTube, because YouTube went through a period of time when it was just like being annoying. Oh, you're gonna have 7 or 8 views before we stop you viewing anything on YouTube. Okay, fine, so disable that. It could be that I've got Privacy Badger enabled as well, which is another plugin you can get for Firefox, which is by the EFF. And that stops tracking cookies and things. So Firefox stops tracking cookies, Privacy Badger stops tracking fingerprinting and stuff. And then AdBlock, you can't really use the internet without AdBlock. Like on YouTube, I'm not allowed to tell you to use it or not use it, but you know, it's just, yeah, it's a dodgy situation. It's a strange situation. It's one where I don't mind you guys using it, because I don't get anything from YouTube anyway. It's a hobby. It always was a hobby. But yeah, it could just be that anyone watching with AdBlock turned on, those views are not counting. So that's a curious thing, a very strange thing. Wow, it's been kind of an eventful, this is Sunday, so I'm driving around Cornwall, I'm driving around the back lanes of Cornwall on a Sunday. This is 20-mile-an-hour road, we're doing 20, that lad was not. But it has been raining, so yeah, whenever I go out, I have to keep my head on a swivel, because there's just so much going on. This is still a very touristy part of the world, or a very touristy part of the United Kingdom. So you do get a lot of people driving around here who don't live around here, and they might come from places like London. And in London, I guess you just close your eyes and put your foot on the accelerator to go anywhere. And I've seen quite a lot of that driving. You see it a lot more in the summer. But now with the kids back at school, there's a sort of a change in the age of people coming down on holiday. So if you go into St Ives, as I was going to St Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. Yep, that's St Ives. It's not that far away. I think it's just kind of over there. I was there at the beginning of the week. I was there with Mum. We had a nice coffee and walk around St Ives. We went to the St Ives Museum because I love museums. I absolutely love museums. If there's a museum, I want to see what's going on in there. It's a small one. It's got some interesting stuff in there. You learn a little bit every time you go in there. And if I could get a job working in a museum, I would absolutely love that. It's one of my dream jobs. That and possibly archaeology. But yeah, so we were down there, and it's just like a ton of older people who possibly don't have kids or whose kids have gone to college. So yeah, you got to be a little bit careful, very careful driving around. And I was not watching. I don't watch TikTok. I'm not a TikTok person. One time somebody sent me a TikTok and said, "Oh, watch this." It was some woman talking earnestly at a camera. So the camera was obviously on a table. Her phone was obviously on a table, and she was talking earnestly about something. And I'm like, okay, right, I don't know what I'm supposed to be getting from this video. And then TikTok carried on playing other videos, and it was just a bunch of like middle-aged women talking earnestly about the problems in the world and various things. And I'm like, is this all TikTok is? I was like, no. Once you watch something, it just shows you something similar to the thing you've already watched. And I'm like, oh, so I'm just going to get a load of middle-aged women telling me that there's bad things happening in the world? It's like, yeah, probably. All right. But I do spend a lot of time on Reddit, and last week or a couple of weeks ago, there was a video of someone, and she was doing a TikTok in her car. And the mobile phone was sort of like here, I guess. And she was acting out some skit or sketch. Like, I think it was supposed to be a comedy thing or something. And then the next thing, the car hits, like goes off the road and hits something, because she wasn't focused on what she was supposed to be doing. She wasn't focused on driving. She was focused on recording a TikTok. And I was like, oh yeah. And there was another video of a lady, and she was on her phone. The phone kept coming up, and she was like beep booping on the phone. And it was America, North America, the United States of America. And she was like, look in the road, mobile phone. Look in the road, mobile phone. And I'm like, that's how you die. That's straight up how you die, because things happen very quickly. And if your eyes and hands and like everything aren't focused on what you're doing, driving 2 tons of car, something's going to happen. And it did. She just drove off the road into a hedge. She was okay, but yeah, it's kind of shocking. I'm just going to take this corner because it's a switchback. Got to be very careful here. Once you commit, you put your foot down. You only ever put your foot down when you know you don't need to lift it up again. That's, I think, Sir Jackie Stirling? Or Stirling? Yeah. No. Is it Jackie Stirling? Or Stirling Moss? One of them. One of those guys. It was like, whenever you go into a corner, you off the accelerator, and you only put your foot back on the accelerator when you know you don't need to take it off. I mean, it's to do with racing, but, you know, it's a good thing for roads. TikToks. We'll go back to TikToks. Yeah, so these people driving off the road while recording a TikTok in their car, or just being on their mobile phone in their car. And I'm like, how is that any different to what I do? How would you explain what I'm doing right now versus what these people are doing? And I think it's quite simple. The 2 cameras that are in the car and the audio recorder, I don't have anything to do with them once they have been turned on. So stop the car at the side of the road if I need to like record from a specific point, or turn the cameras on at home or in a car park. You know, wherever the car starts, turn the cameras on, turn the audio on, do the sound check. So you do a clap, 3, 2, 1, clap, and you sync the clap up on the audio with the clap, the visual clap on the video, and then you forget it. You forget all about it. If something happens and I need to turn the cameras off or reset the cameras, I have to go and find a place to stop. So there is no touching the cameras once they have been started. So there's nothing in my field of vision either. The only time I see you guys is when I look over at you, and that's it. But it's a little glance. I can never look at you for more than a few seconds, because especially on a road like this, a few seconds is all it takes to end up in the hedges. So yeah, having the cameras out of view, having the audio out of view, wearing a lav mic instead of trying to have, and there's no lights either. I have recorded at night. There's been a couple of times when I've recorded at night and just had the interior light on, just to give some illumination, and that's worked fairly well, I guess. But yeah, if you are going to be doing something in your car, if you're going to be recording yourself doing something in your car, there are two ways of doing it. This way, where you slap your cameras against the glass using a couple of GoPro suction mounts, and that's good. I mean, this is what I've been doing for a few years now, and it seems to work quite well. Or if you have to absolutely use your phone to record a TikTok in the car, just park your car somewhere where you can only see the sky, and then record as if you're driving, but with the car is absolutely switched off, like not the engine running or anything. You can add engine noises in afterwards. I'm assuming you can do some editing on TikTok. I've never seen how the editing works on the back end, but yeah, have the car turned off, and if you've got someone outside, maybe just have a reflector, just wash light over you, like bounce light over you, maybe to make it look like the car is moving. Get inventive that way, but god damn, don't be driving around with a mobile phone in your lap, because that is bad news. Yeah, I was thinking about it, like I did this. There've got to be times, because before I had the car, I had a motorbike, and I do remember buying a clamp for the motorbike, for the GoPro. So there's got to be at some point I recorded some footage on the motorbike, but for the life of me, I can't find it, and I can't remember what I did with it or where it was used. What motorbike did you have? Oh, that's an excellent question. Thank you for asking. I've had several motorbikes in my time. I started off on Mum's Honda Rebel CA125. Honda Rebel had quite a long wheelbase, and it was quite an interesting bike to learn how to ride on. I had no intention of riding a motorbike. I never did. Back in the day, back when I was in college, I was taking the bus to college, and it was super depressing. It was very depressing. What I would do is I would jump on a little hopper bus. It was one of these sort of like short bus things, because it had to fit around the lanes in Cornwall. Now they've got those bloody great big double deckers that we saw earlier. But this was a while ago. This was one of these short buses, and they rattled and they rolled and they bounced, and they took 40 minutes to do like a 20-minute journey. 45 minutes to do a 20-minute journey, and they were always timed, especially with college. They were always timed so that you would get there as your tutorial period would start. So you had to always get there like an hour ahead of whenever you needed to be at college, and the buses would always leave like a full, like on the time when the tutor period ended. So you could never get from your lesson to the bus stop before the bus left. It was frustrating. So one day Mum was like, oh, I've passed my motorbike test, and I've got myself a new motorbike. She got herself a Virago, 494 Virago. I would not recommend the Virago to anyone. I mean, I guess there are people who like it. I think the bigger one is okay, maybe, but the small one, the 500cc small Virago was, ooh, it was bad. It was bad. We got a Mexican standoff here, lads. Right, I'm going. I don't know where anyone is going in that roundabout, but the guy to the right could have gone. I think he was just a little bit confused. A little confused. So yeah, first motorbike, Honda Rebel C8 I took that miles. I took that miles and miles and miles. Like, I rode all the way around the place on it. It was good, but very long wheelbase. It was a cruiser, which was... It was difficult to do the turn in the road on it, especially if you had no experience. The bike I had after that was a Honda CX 500, and that introduced me to a new type of bike. The type of bike that has a shaft drive. And yes, oh my, like if I went back to bikes now, I would definitely want a shaft drive bike, because you don't have to worry about the chain stretch, chain lag, chain anything. The chain on a motorbike is a pain in my butt, because I would get through a chain and sprocket set once every like 10 months, but then I was quite heavy on the accelerator, on the throttle. But yeah, the Honda CX 500, and I had that for a while, and then I kind of upgraded, because that was a 1978 bike, and then I went with a 1984 Honda CX 650. So that was slightly more refined. It was the same basic like layout, slightly more refined vehicle. The engine was bored out. I think it was basically the same engine but bored out, but with slightly better like cooling and everything on there. So that was fun, and I rode that for a long time. Where is this? Very curious. I don't think you should be riding along the pavement like that. Yeah, so the Honda CX 650. I really did like that bike. When I first had it, it did have a bit of a problem, and that it will wobble as you were going into long corners. So if you were on the freeway and you were doing the national limit, say 70 miles an hour, you would get it and it would just like wobble, and I'm just like, So I had it taken apart. The engine actually got rebuilt on that, but the headstock, where the forks and handlebars all connect to the frame, that got pulled apart, re-greased, put back together and tensioned properly, and that solved that problem. No issue. It didn't have a very good speedo on it. After about 50 miles an hour, the speedo became more of a suggestion, so it probably needed a new speedo cable, but it never got one. And then after the CX 650, I got the Kawasaki ER6F 2009 model, which looked like the Kawasaki Ninja. It was the Kawasaki Ninja 650RR. So if you put them side by side in a car park, you wouldn't know the difference. But the ER6 just didn't have any race tuning, which was fine. It did 127 if you took it on a track, maybe. You wouldn't want to do 127 on the open road in the United Kingdom, officially. So yeah, I rode motorbikes for a long time, and the thing is, when I had the Kawasaki, I tried putting that on there, but I don't know what happened to the footage, or whether I ever used the footage. So yeah, curious. Anyway, I think we're stuck in roadworks at the moment. It has been a curious drive out, a curious time out, just kind of around the back of Hale, through the middle of Hale. But I might leave it here for the time being. So yeah, views are still down on the channel. Views are... It's a thing. It's just a thing. It's a thing. I do this because it's a hobby. I do this mostly to just interact with people like everywhere else in the world. You guys have been exceptionally good people, viewers, people. I don't know what I would call you guys, friends, I guess. Yeah, when it comes to things like, there's another set of traffic lights up ahead. When it comes to things like straight up interacting with people on the internet, sometimes you get a little bit nervous about who you are and aren't going to interact with. But the community around the channel has been, exceptional. I think I'm very, I think an American would say I am very blessed A British person would say, you're very lucky to have the people here that I have. And you guys have been super friendly and super nice. And I do enjoy finding out about things that you've been doing in your lives, like having chickens and places where you've lived and what you do as a job, like stuff like that. It seems minor, but no, I enjoy learning about that. Just as I enjoy going and visiting museums, I enjoy just listening to people and like just talking about their lives. So if you've got anything going on that you've been doing recently, leave it down below as a comment. That'd be wonderful. Thank you again for anyone who's been using the coffee link, little donations to the channel. That does help. I always say it does. It's kind of hard to quantify, but the channel's still here. So, you know, that's it. That's how that helps. Yeah, and just thank you for being around. It's been good. The views thing, I think we're just going to sit on it and just see what happens. Baldur's Gate 3 finished at the end of last week. I did an epilogue, which I don't normally do after a finale, and we do have another game. So if you're watching this before the new game has gone out, well, I've actually got a couple of games, a couple of very French games. So there's a hint about what's going on. One's more French than the other, weirdly. So we'll start that. I don't know if it's going to be another 2-year mission, but considering Stranded Deep's been going on for nearly 10 years. Yeah, and 10 years next year. 10 years next April, I think, which is crazy to think about. Yeah. So yeah, there's that. What else? Oh, we're still doing the vampire thing. Yeah, I didn't do a video, Cabernet video last week because I was busy socializing with my family, going to museums. So yeah, you get this video instead. Anyway, yeah, I'm definitely going to leave it there. I'm just waffling. I'm just waffling now. So I'm leaving it there. Stay safe, stay happy, and I tell you what, I'll catch you next time.